on in this race, not just Big Orange.
First standby for the Kipco British Champions Long Distance Cup. They're lined up and away they go, and Cap'n very slow into stride in the first race on Kipco British Champions Day 2017. Stars over the sea in the light jacket on the far side. Down the centre is Big Orange, the Gold Cup winner, in the yellow jacket. Mount Moriah's on the near side. They're followed by Desert Skyline and Sheikh Zayed Road, last year's winner, in the red and white alongside Torsador. Up the inside, Stradivarius. Frankie has him handy on the rail. Followed back then by Order of St George, the favourite. A close-up 8th or 9th at this stage, just to the outside of Dartmouth in the royal colours. Giretto is next from Nearly Caught, and they're followed by Clever Cookie and the back marker, the slow starter, and the rank outsider Captain, as they run round this right-hand turn and approach the 1.5 mile point from the finish. The start for the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, the midsummer highlight here at Ascot. And running downhill now, the long run down the hill towards Swinley Bottom, and Big Orange leads the way a length out in front from Stars Over the Sea and Mount Moriah. Sheikh Zayed Road's on the outside of Desert Skyline, followed in the black with the yellow cap by Stradivarius. Torsador in orange. Order of St George is behind these from Dartmouth, and then Giretto, and towards the rear Old Clever Cookie, Nearly Caught, and finally Cap'n. Inside the final 10 furlongs now, they continue to run downhill on the descent towards the mile marker, and then they'll be into the right hand bend at Swinley Bottom, and Big Orange driving up the inside of Mount Moriah now, followed by Torsador on the outside, and then on the inside is Desert Skyline from Sheikh Zayed Road and Order of St George. Stars Over the Sea, who led early, is back on the rail now in about 7th place as they round Swinley Bottom and head on towards the 7 furlong marker. And this is where the race begins to get tough, because not only is it uphill, they'll have the headwind to contend with up the home straight. Big Orange by a neck to Mount Moriah, passing the 7 and on towards the 6, followed by Torsador. On the inside, Desert Skyline from Sheikh Zayed Road. Order of St George making nice progress now into 6th place on the outside, within 4 lengths of the lead as they enter the final 3/4 of a mile. Stradivarius is further back from Giretto, Stars Over the Sea, Dartmouth, then Clever Cookie, a couple of lengths then to Nearly Caught. Passing the 5 furlong marker in the Kipco British Champions Long Distance Cup, Mount Moriah from Torsador in second. Sheikh Zayed Road is third. Big Orange coming under pressure on the inside. Order of St George looming large. In behind those, the improving Giretto, followed by Clever Cookie. Stradivarius has a chance just behind Order of St George as they run now into the final bend. Mount Moriah leading to Torsador. Order of St George now shaken up, goes third from Sheikh Zayed Road. Then Stradivarius and Giretto and Clever Cookie, and Nearly Caught, and Big Orange is beaten, and so is Dartmouth. Homeward bound Mount Moriah from Torsador, and they've kicked away from Order of St George. They're followed by Stradivarius and Giretto as they race now towards the final furlong and a half, and Torsador on the outside in the orange jacket. Colin O'Donoghue takes it up from Mount Moriah. Stradivarius and Order of St George are 3rd and 4th, struggling to get on terms, and it's Torsador, the Jesse Harrington trained Torsador, that leads. Mount Moriah tries to rally. Order of St George stays on late with Stradivarius up to the line. Torsador is now being collared by Order of St George, and Order of St George pulls it out of the fire from Torsador in second, Stradivarius in third, Mount Moriah, Giretto, Clever Cookie, and Sheikh Zayed Road.
Aidan O'Brien won the first edition of this race back in 2011 with Fame and Glory, and he's taken this year's race with a real talent in Order of St George. It looked likely nowhere other than in the shadow of the post, as Ryan Moore has dragged this talented stayer over the line to outpoint his compatriot Torquedor, who's run a career best for Gold Cup winning trainer Jessica Harrington and Colm O'Donoghue. It was a war, an attritional war in conditions. Big Orange checking out down the side of the course, wheels spinning on this soft ground, but no problem for Order of St George. He has won this race but not with the ease that his odds suggested might be likely.
And not in the style you'd imagine. In fact, for the 1 mile 5 furlong of the race, it's gone exactly as you'd imagine. A top class horse moving into the race, going well, tucking himself in behind the leaders, and you thought he's going to go bing, but he didn't. For about a furlong and a half, he made no ground at all. Tortador kicked on, he looked like he had the race won, and then Stamina kicked in, because it wasn't just him. Stradivarius, who also looked like they were going to battle out 4th place, has also stayed on really well, and the two of them are closing the leader down. Alderson George gets there 50 yards out, and in the end has won well, but not in the style we imagined.
Stradivarius has run a fine race for third, the 3-year-old, still at a relatively early stage of his career, and this was a really tough test. Excellent run from Mount Moriah in 4th place, and Giretto loomed up threateningly, but he didn't have quite what it took when it got really tough late on. 5-4 on, 25-1, 4-1. The 1-2-3 in the opening race on Champions Day. And Order of St George settled into a lovely midfield position early on as Big Orange cracked on.
Looked a truly run race. Now, Torcedor in the past has often made the run-in, slightly more restrained tactics. I wonder if that's one of the reasons the horse has put up an improved performance. He just was given a bit more of a chance. They settled about 5th or 6th. Order St George and Stars of the Sea have ensured that it's a pretty decent pace, and we're going to see an incident down the far side where something happened to Stars of the Sea. Whether it was a track or whether he was short of room, I don't know, but he suddenly stumbled and lost his position.
Yeah, that happens in a furlong or so's time. Stars Over the Sea in the pale blue colours, currently sitting in 3rd place. He got time for a little bit of room. Desert Skyline, who was fancied beforehand, the cheek pieces, in about 5th, is quite keen.
He was, and that is a no-no today. You really don't want to be using up energy. Shakespeare Road, who won the race last year, he ran prominently for a while, but he's had enough. And Big Orange, you've already mentioned, gave a strong impression this round did for him. That was a doubt about Stradivarius, and it certainly wasn't a problem. This is where the incident happened right now. You see here, he snatches up and goes back quickly. You almost need a different angle there. You need a different angle. Was that running out of room, or did he just stumble? I don't know from this angle.
He was a big price horse going into the race, and that only served to lengthen his odds of being competitive. Mount Moriah has run an exceptional race because been on the sharp end pretty much throughout.
Yeah, two 3-year-olds ran really well. But yeah, Mount Moriah deserves a lot of credit because he was much further behind in the Irish Ledger to Order St George. But here, under a positive ride, he's run an absolutely storming race. And you know, another year on his belt, he could develop into a very interesting stayer next season.
And as the race starts to unfold, you'll see Big Orange go from swinging away seemingly quite happily to nothing much very quickly.
Yeah, he really does empty, and you'd have to think it was the ground. At this stage, the principal, or what turned out to be the winner and the third, are sort of taking closer orders and setting themselves up for the finish. Order St George moved into 3rd, 4th place in about 30-40 yards. Stradivarius is tracking him through, and Diretto on the outside in the yellow hat also makes headway. At that stage, you can easily see all three being involved, but we were underestimating the horses in front of them.
And the way that Giretto is shaped here suggests that Connections have got a patent class horse for next year on their hands.
Definitely. He's run another really good race. Whether he improved for the 2 miles, because he probably looked more threatening a furlong and a half, 2 furlongs out than he did right at the line. But he's excelled. He's only his 3rd run this season, and it's probably a career best.
Sheikh Zayed Road, last year's winner. He hasn't really brought it today. He's run well up to a point, but he's checked out when the going got tough. We didn't see anything much at all from Dartmouth.
No, Dartmouth was a bit flat. I think Sheikh Zayed ran a bit like his season's been, really. Yeah, bits of promise, but not at his best. This is where the eventual runner-up kicks on, and you think here they're not making ground for about. I thought this was a race-winning move. Furlong and a half out.